Welcome to the 4 to 5. Eric Chilton, Sydney Moore, Tanya Rivera. We got a whole group of us. Welcome to Monday, by the way.
Monday!
Yeah.
You had a good weekend. It was a beautiful weekend.
Wasn't it a beautiful weekend? It's made me realize that, you know what, my Monday is not all too bad because of the weekend I had. So.
I moved one of the twins into East Carolina. He transferred. And so I was thinking, oh no, I'm going to be down east. It's going to be just brutally hot.
Muggy.
It was a beautiful Saturday.
Yeah.
Like,
Nice.
not bad at all.
A lot of people were out and about.
Especially when you're schlepping up 3 flights of stairs.
Got that right. Thank goodness they had elevators. My dorm did not have elevators back in the day.
Speaking of heat and humidity, that is definitely something that we're keeping an eye on before we get to your forecast for today. So what we're doing, we're going to follow 2 developing stories in the Piedmont Triad right now.
That's right, a meeting tonight to discuss a heavily debated casino in Rockingham County and non-toxic mold found at 2 new Alamance Burlington schools. So we begin with these 2 new cases of mold discovered a week before the first day of school.
Right, we've got WFMY News 2's Nixon Norman with us outside one of those schools where the fungus was found.
That's right, Sydney and Tanya. Both Broadview Middle School and Cummings High School have been found with mold in them just weeks after Andrews and Newland Elementary School were inspected and found mold in them as well. Now, if you take a look behind me next to the high school sign, there's a sign about renovations and construction, something that the school district says created a perfect storm for this kind of mold.
This is not something we're trying to hide. This is something we're aggressively attacking, if you will. It's a perfect storm when you talk about the high humidity. We've had some HVAC issues here at Cummings High School. They've had construction going on over the summer, which fluctuates in temperatures inside the building. It's a perfect storm for mold, really.
Andrews Elementary has since been cleaned up and those students will return as normal. But Atkins tells me that around 800 students attend Cummings, 500 attend Broadview, and another 500 attend Newland, meaning that nearly 1,800 students will be impacted on the first days of school this year. Newland students are going to be starting the year at Ray Street Academy, and those Ray Street Academy students going to Graham Middle. No decisions on Broadview or Cummings have been made just yet, but we'll keep you updated because the board continues to meet and they do have a planned meeting after the first day of school on August 28th. Live in Burlington, Nixon Norman, WFMY News 2.
Yep, we'll continue to follow on that story. Now to the other story that we're following today, a potential new casino in Rockingham County.
In less than 3 hours, there will be a public hearing where county leaders will roll the dice on a new casino. Commissioners could approve a request to rezone property along US 220 just north of Summerfield.
Now that decision would be the first official step towards putting a casino on that piece of land. North Carolina lawmakers would still need to pass legislation that would legalize casino gambling outside of tribal lands to make that casino actually happen.
Right now, there is no timeline for when a bill could be filed in Raleigh. Some residents who oppose the rezoning will be at the meeting tonight in red shirts that say "Stand for Freedom." Others will be there in support of the casino.
It's going to be right up next to Camp Carefree, which is a camp for chronically ill or seriously ill children. And also just, we live where we live in Western Rockingham County because we like the small town feel. And that will definitely take away from it to some extent.
It'll make this town great, make it do a whole lot better. They'll come around here and anywhere, be all kind of business in Rockingham County.
Well, the meeting starts at 6:30 inside the Commissioner's Chambers tonight. Of course, we're going to have a full update coming up at WFMY News 2 at 5.
Yeah, hot and humid. It returns to the Triad and it stays here for a while too. We're a little bit up and down though with temperatures over the next week. Some days we're in the mid 80s, some days mid 90s, so a little bit of a roller coaster. Here's what we see right now. Current readings at 90 even in Greensboro, 91 for High Point and Asheboro, 90 in Lexington, to the north Mount Airy at 88, and we see Walnut Cove at 91, Reedsville 89 degrees. 71 should be the low tonight, mostly clear skies. It'll be very sticky out there. Same story tomorrow, partly sunny. Look at that high up to 94 degrees tomorrow. Yeah, that's when it starts getting a little too hot, right? We like these upper 80s, by the way. That's actually normal for us this time of the year, so we're a good bit above above normal over the next couple of days. Some clouds, you can see some of them filtering in from the north, but overall it's kind of a mixed bag of sun and clouds, with more sunshine than clouds across the region. Same story tomorrow as well. The heat does continue. When you look at our surface chart here, you can see that heat. There is a cold front coming by. We're thinking maybe Tuesday night into Wednesday. That could be a game changer for our Wednesday, but then on the backside of that, we're right back to that hot weather again. In fact, really hot. Look at this, 94 degrees on Tuesday, partly cloudy. Wednesday, 85 and not as humid. That'll be a wonderful day. 87 Thursday, not bad, but 95, hottest day of the week on Friday. Late day shower chances pop in as a 20 to 30% for Friday through Monday, and we'll cool back to the mid to lower 80s to start next week.
A new school year is upon us, and with that, a new school year means new changes. This year's Winston-Salem-Forsyth County will be doing random security checks with metal detectors at middle schools. The district is expanding this initiative, which was already in place at the high school level. Officials also say there will be more surveillance cameras on campuses. The security expansion comes after the district agreed to buy 94 walk-through metal detectors earlier this summer. Leaders say the added security is a step in the right direction toward making sure that students and staff feel safe.
We're looking for guns, we're looking for knives, we're looking for things. We find brass knuckles, we find, things that are sharp that shouldn't have. Safety is our number one priority. It's important that we return students to their families at the end of a school day, the same way that we receive those kids in the morning each and every day.
Guilford County Schools is already using metal detectors at high schools and athletic events. Well, sticking with GCS, this week the district will be hosting open houses for all of its schools. High schools have opening their doors to students and parents tomorrow, followed by the middle schools on Wednesday. Elementary schools go through on Thursday. You can find the times for your open house on the school's website.
And you don't want to miss this. Our annual WFMY News 2 Tools for School Drive is Wednesday. We will be collecting school supplies for Guilford County students at the Walmart on Battleground Avenue. We will be there from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. You can stop by and drop off new items like notebooks, pencils, and binders in collection boxes as you leave the store. Our Tools for School Drive runs through September 11th.
Let's get to your 4 to 5 roundup on Wednesday. GOP candidates for president will be taking part in their first debate. But the front runner, former President Donald Trump, says he's not going to be there. Instead, he's expected to release a taped interview with former Fox News host Tucker Carlson. This all comes as Trump has until Friday to surrender in Georgia on racketeering and conspiracy charges linked to the 2020 election.
And President Biden and the First Lady stopped in Maui, Hawaii today to get a first-hand look at the massive destruction caused by the wildfires. The death toll has grew to 114 as more than 800 people are on the missing persons list. This morning, the White House said over 1,000 federal responders are on the ground in Maui to help with the recovery. The Biden administration has also approved more than $8 million in assistance so far.
The grocery store chain Publix is reminding customers that pets are not allowed. Publix says service animals are in fact allowed in their stores, but that does not include emotional support animals or just pets. The policy is not new and has been in place since 2020, but no reason was given as to why many Publix stores are reminding customers about it now. You can read the rules for yourself on the company's website.
All right, so check this out. You have a chance to win money at the Carolina Classic Fair, which opens at the end of next month. The Carolina Classic Fair, that is late in September through most of October, but you can get in on the action right now by entering into one of their many contests. And yes, there is money in that winner's circle if you're lucky enough to get there. I spoke with DJ from the fair to hear about these contests.
Yeah, so there's an array of categories that you can enter when it comes to competitive entries. A lot of food categories. That's personally one of my favorites. Everything from food to photography, arts and crafts and hobbies. There's clothing and fashion categories, quilts, anything that involves creative expression or cooking. We have some kind of category for it when it comes to the competitive entries.
So basically, as he said, there's something for everybody. But yes, let's talk about the money, because sometimes you can compete if you win and go to the state fair with this.
We have a pool of about $225,000 in prize money that's distributed among the winners of the different categories. So, that not just involves the categories that I just listed off, but that also includes livestock. We have goat shows, cattle shows, chickens, so everything from the livestock and the animals down to photography and drawing and painting entries. That pool of money is spread across all the different categories. And then of course, on top of that, you get bragging rights. The winning items are displayed at the fair. You get ribbons that you can collect year after year. So on top of the prize money, there's other benefits as well.
Yeah, entries for the contest have to be in by September 1st, which is what, a week and a half away? Is that right, roughly? Or 2 weeks. And you can go to their website is carolinaclassicfair.com. You can check it out. One thing I wanted to point out, he said there is and I'm trying to do a follow-up story on this. There's a 12-year-old kid that he said enters multiple categories every single year. And so his ribbon collection is huge. And they all know him at the fair, and he's there every year. So we're going to try it. Yeah,
we need to find him, right? We need to find him for sure. Yeah. Well, I mean, and it's really anything and everything, right? If it's everything from crocheting to cake making, cookie baking, painting, quilting, you name it, there is a contest for it.
I like the food.
Oh, yeah.
Anytime I see or hear the word fair, all I can think about is that food.
Fair food,
That's
yes.
all I can think about.
That's about the only reason I go. I'm not a rides guy. I go to people watch and to eat food. That's it.
I can picture you.
Oh, my wife and I sit down.
How are y'all doing?
We just sit at a bench and eat and watch people go by. We're so boring.
Brings a little peace.
That's
Enjoy
right.
that.
All right. Don't judge. We'll be right back. Stay there.
All right, I am talking about body language and job interviews.
Welcome back. On Thursday, more than 20 Triad companies will participate at the Davidson Local Give Work a Chance job fair. A bonus to the hiring event is that childcare will be provided for any parent looking for a job. Blanca Cobb, who has a master's degree in psychology, joins us this afternoon to help you ace your interview. So let's get right into it. Blanca, why is body language so important in job interviews?
Body language is really important when you're talking to somebody because your body language can either make or break the message, the connection, and the impression that you're trying to give somebody else. Let me give you an example. You might feel good about the answers that you're giving to a prospective employer, but let's say you're shifting your weight back and forth. And so that's a contradiction there. And so the employer could be looking and going, is this person nervous? Maybe there's something that this person isn't saying. So it's all about perception. That's why body language is really critical.
Absolutely. And are there particular times during an interview that job seekers might show negative body language and might not even realize it?
Absolutely. When they're tough questions, like, well, tell me why you left your previous job, or what didn't you like about your last job, or they're not sure how to answer a question, or they don't want to answer a certain topic, then it can become very stressful. And when it's stressful, then your body language can change. For example, you might look away, your voice could drop, lips could twitch, or your foot might start tapping. Anything that changes in your body language can give the impression, what is this person not telling me? And the unfortunate thing is, because some people don't know how to read body language correctly, they can confuse nervous signs for lying signs.
And how can you come across confident in a job interview?
One way is making sure that you have more eye contact when you're listening than talking. It happens to us naturally anyway, because when you're talking, sometimes you think about something and you might look away because you're visualizing it, and then you'll look back at the person. Also, you want to make sure that you're speaking up in order to be heard. When you get nervous, sometimes your voice can get really, really high pitched, or it can drop an octave. So you want to make sure that someone can hear you, because that comes across as confident. Also, you want to make sure that your feet are hip distance apart, because it makes you look more steady. Hands, people ask me all the time, what do I do with my hands? You want to make sure that they're relaxed. You want to see the natural curvature. You can have them by your sides. You can lay them on the table. And then when you're talking and you're making points, you can actually use your hands to accentuate what you're saying, or to use it as a verbal highlighter or nonverbal highlighter, if you will, when you're talking about something that's important.
All right, Blanca, thank you so much for joining with us. All good stuff there. And if you enjoyed our chat today, you can continue the conversation with Blanca on her Facebook page, Blanca Cobb, body language expert. We'll be right back.
People say it's not the heat, it's the humidity. It's both, and that's what we're going to have for a while, both crammed in together for several days. Now, that being said, tomorrow, yes, you see 94 up here, so that's too hot for us, right? We should be around 87, 86 degrees this time of the year. But by Wednesday, we might be 10 degrees cooler with lower humidity before we go right back up to the mid-90s by the end of the week. We're all over the place with temperatures. 71 will be the low tonight, clear skies tomorrow, partly sunny, so some clouds here and there, but more sunshine than not, and a high of 94. We can see some of the clouds streaming in from the north, go out to a wider shot. Yeah, that's kind of the overall pattern, but really with the dome of high pressure over us, you can't really have a lot of shower activity develop. That high is pretty strong. Now, it will be moving off the coast. That opens the door for this little small cold front to dip down from the north with the high pressure way up in the northeast, and that'll bring down some cooler air, all takes it down to the mid-80s, so a couple degrees below normal for this time of the year. But the bigger issue is that lower humidities on Wednesday. We like that break every now and again, and we need that because, as we mentioned, it's going right back up by Friday. Tropics are active. We have Tropical Storm Franklin, Gert, and Emily, all three out there, and then two other systems, one they're examining, which is in the Gulf. That'll be moving into the Texas coastline, and then the other one right off the coast of Africa has a 70% chance of developing into a named system, and we'll keep you posted. 7-day outlook, 94 tomorrow, 85 Wednesday, 87 Thursday. 2 great days in a row there. 95 though on Friday, but at least those late day shower chances pop in. They're small, but 20 to 30% for Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Look on the horizon though, 85 on Sunday and 83, 3 degrees below normal by Monday.
Well, there's a simple way you can save the next time you go out to eat. Picture this. You know how when you go out to eat at some restaurants and they give you a serving of bread? Well, some say that it could be a tactic to get you to spend more. Let's connect the dots.
A free treat before you eat could actually make your meal more expensive. The bread you get before your food is not to fill you up. And it's certainly not the restaurant just being nice either. It can actually make you hungrier and want more food. That's because of a blood glucose spike that happens when you eat carbs. And experts agree, eating processed carbs triggers a large release of insulin to normalize blood sugar. And that's going to make you hungry, leading you to potentially buy more food after you've ordered. And that is connecting the dots.
All right, with that in mind, I decided to get you to tell me your favorite breads, because there are a lot of people that say if it's not a meal if it doesn't have bread. So Melita says, I love a good homemade biscuit with butter and honey. Reminds me of my childhood. I do love that too. Teresa Emmons said biscuits with a homegrown tomato inside. Yummy. Susie said rosemary bread with a little butter. Getting frou-frou on us, Susie. Billy Oliver says any bread. Biscuits, cornbread, yeast rolls. My mama always said you can't get full if you don't have bread. Stacy Brindle said gold Hawaiian rolls. I love those too. Even the off-brand because they're soft and sweet and delicious. And
well,
I agree.
This just took me back to spending time with my grandmother, because every time we would come to see her, she still does this. She makes biscuits and she uses cane syrup on them, and so it is just just absolutely delicious. And I believe the cane syrup is like homemade as well too. So,
Does she do
but it's
from
just
scratch or
special because
biscuits?
she does it ever since has been doing it ever since we were from scratch.
Wow.
So
I'm
took
sure
me back.
you've tried that probably.
I love biscuits from scratch. Yeah, and I learned how to make them while I was here in North Carolina. Never made them in Florida and stuff like that. It's really cool. It's a little trial and error. You got to freeze that butter, people. That's all I'm going to say.
Freeze the butter.
You freeze the butter and then you grate the frozen butter because then it gives the biscuits little pockets of goodness.
Yum. Will you
Now,
teach
I
me?
want to talk about this bread thing because one of my favorite restaurants in the Kernersville area no longer gives you bread for free. You have to ask for it. And they said people were filling up on the bread and then not buying dinner.
You show them this story.
Which was, just the kind of the opposite of that. I was like, interesting.
That is very interesting take.
I had to ask for my bread. Give me my bread!
Why do we have to talk about this when I'm doing low carb? We're going to take a break.
Yeah,
I
sorry
know I
about that.
missed my bread. We'll be right back.
Yo, it's my turn. I thought, we got 2 more minutes, man. Y'all going to the 4:30 already? I thought we started at 20. Guess what? It's me and Brad. We're back doing it again. Mic checks.
Welcome back to the 4 to 5. Eric, Sydney, Tanya. We're on first name basis now.
That's right. That's
You do it. I tell you this all the time, but you do it so well. You're really
Quick.
smooth with it. Real smooth.
I think
Rolls right
it
off.
needs to keep rolling. I feel like the show's always got to keep going,
Yeah. How are y'all feeling for a Monday?
I I think it's good.
Pretty
I think
good.
it was a good weekend, right? We felt energized because it was a little cooler in the morning, so it made us all feel really like, ooh, we got a second season in there along with a weekend.
I like
Fall
the
is
hint.
coming.
Yes, I like the hint of fall, that crisp, cool air in the morning, which we're probably tired of the summer sticky starts to the everyday. So
Yeah, that
For
humidity
sure.
too.
we'll talk more about that.
Here's
coming
something
up.
else that made me happy, right? There's no longer a drought of high school football, right? All the football's starting to happen. So let's start this half hour with some sports from WFMY News 2's Jalen Gilkey.
Yeah, Tanya, East Forsyth's Bryce Baker is one of the top high school football players in the nation. The Eagles' junior quarterback has committed to play at North Carolina, and we caught up with Baker and talked things football and his outlook for the 2023 season.
I had a whole checklist with my parents, and we had boxes, and the big box for me was development, and just to see how the coaches could develop me to get me to my ultimate goal. So the goal is the NFL, and I still have dreams of the NFL. So I definitely wanted to check that box, and my full trust in the coaching staff checked the box for me. And I was actually able to talk to Drake May and ask him one specific question was, does he think he could be where he is or get to his dreams if he wasn't where he was now? And he straight up said yes. So that definitely helped check the box, and UNC is the place for me.
He understands the game very well, studies the game. He's a big guy, good size, really good on the first scrimmage we had. Got a lot of learning to go. He's got to get through the new offense and working with Coach Horton, but a lot of good things so far, but we've got a long ways to go.
It's been smooth. The main word and the word I always use is smooth, and that's because the coaches' love and relentless support for me and for all my other teammates. It's been smooth with my work ethic, and just combining those two really produce a great result.
As any coach would tell you, at any level, you got to have a trigger man. You know, he's got a lot of great pieces around him now too to throw. That's going to help him look really good, but you got to have that one guy that's locked in, and we've been blessed for many years. To have that guy and to have Bryce step in has been awesome.
So now it's time to prepare for week 2 of the high school football regular season, and you guys can help as well. But everybody at home, we need your help to decide our Friday Football Fever game of the week for week 2. Head over to our website, WFMYnews2.com. Click on the sports tab and vote for our Friday Football Fever game of the week this upcoming Friday. We've got 5 games for you to choose from. You see them right there on your screen. And you have until Wednesday at 5 p.m. to vote as
Which to pick, which to pick, which to
I
pick.
know. Would you say
That's
we got
always
some
the
good
question.
matches coming up ahead?
Yeah, we got some great matchups every week. I mean, it doesn't really matter where you go at this point in the season. It's still very early, so a lot of teams are still trying to figure out who they are, what they're strong at. But of course, we do have some strong contenders as well. Last week was amazing. I was overjoyed to be back out there amongst the guys and the crowds and the bands and everything just going on. The atmosphere was amazing.
Grimsley's still pretty good, right? Aren't they?
Still
pretty
very
hot?
good. They
Yep.
keep it rolling.
So what was it? Was it the band, the folks in the crowd, the coaches on the sideline? I mean, break it down. What was it?
It was everything, combination of everything. Just the buzz in the air, just how excited everybody was to be back out there on the field, the way the grass smelled.
It's a feeling, isn't it?
It's amazing.
The
just
way the grass
energy.
smells.
It's
Because
true.
you're like, we're
This
back
is
to
it.
it, right? We're
agree
back
with that.
to it. Yes.
And I live so close. We're right behind Northern Guilford High School, so I get to hear the games. We can hear the announcer calling the games.
You always know how it goes.
Yes, it's
without even
fun.
being there.
We literally sometimes will sit out on the driveway, my wife and I, with chairs and just listen to the games.
And
Really?
also the band.
It's a cheapo way of not paying to go in.
I
Especially when
love
you know the
listening
fight
to the
song,
marching
too.
band. It's
Exactly.
fantastic.
So much fun. All right, let's talk about a forecast. Will it feel like football weather on Friday? I'm not going to say. Probably not. You know how that beginning, sometimes you get those really hot days that just pop up this time of the year. That's exactly what will happen Friday. It's the hottest day of the entire week on our 7-day forecast. We'll show you that in a minute. Clouds streaming down from the north now, but still it's kind of a partly cloudy situation, more clear skies than not. And that'll be the case tonight. Overnight lows around 71. We go to the mid-90s tomorrow. This heat builds in. You see the high pressure, that dome or ridge of high pressure, kind of a bubble of high pressure right over us. That stops any shower development or thunderstorm development. Now, as that moves on to the east and the cold front dips to the south, and that'll happen tomorrow evening, let's say. If you look at the timestamp, now we're into Wednesday morning. That's Wednesday at lunchtime. And that high pressure to the north is pushing down lower humidity and cooler air. In fact, we could be almost 10 degrees cooler from your Tuesday to your Wednesday. Wednesday, Thursday look really nice with actually maybe even a degree below normal on Wednesday. It's going to be comfortable. Tropics heating up. We have this disturbance out in the Gulf. They're examining that, but it's just an area of rain right now, but a lot of it, and that could be moving into the Texas coastline. The one off the coast of Africa will probably be a named storm in the next couple days, if not earlier. And then we have 3 tropical storms, Franklin, Gert, and Emily. Right now, none of them any consequence to us, except Franklin we will watch over the long haul, but there's a lot of time between that and some time when that might be able to have a problem with us. But overall, you're looking at high temperatures around 95 on Friday, after that low or mid to upper 80s for Wednesday and Thursday.
All right, Eric, thank you. Well, we have an update on the Hawaii wildfires in Maui. It's not just people affected by the wildfire destruction. It also had a devastating impact on animals as well, too.
Yeah, and despite many living in shelters, Maui officials are sending out an SOS call because, I mean, they're well beyond capacity. People all across the country are now stepping up to help.
He's like, I'm the boy. Even before the fire scorched Lahaina, Cheeto and Dorito needed a home.
Our kennels were completely full.
Then disaster struck. Across the island, the Maui Humane Society and volunteers came to the rescue by land, sea, and now air.
Aloha fur babies. I hope that you guys go to good, loving homes, all of you.
They partnered with the Greater Good Charities and Southwest Airlines to find a temporary home for about 150 pets in Portland, Oregon. Before boarding, each pet got a clean bill of health.
He looks good, yeah.
And vaccinations.
You need a vaccine before you can fly.
They are going to guarantee adoption areas, rescues, where they are guaranteed to find a home. So, yeah, it's really life-saving, and it takes a village.
Volunteers still work around the clock to help animals both at the shelter and back in Lahaina.
The reason why this flight is so important is because we know that we are going to be inundated with animals for months and years to come that are going to need this ongoing medical, shelter, supplies, and care and support.
A need that will keep rising. An estimated 3,000 pets are still missing.
We are seeing animals that are in complete shock. We're seeing animals that need severe pain medication to attend to, the injuries that they have.
But there are also reunions, like Roman's, back with his family after going missing during the fire.
We want people to know that there is hope through all of this, and we need people to keep the hope alive.
And sometimes hope comes with 4 legs and a tail.
Yes. Sweetness.
I know.
Okay, now that just makes me think of all the people here at home who have not microchipped their pets, right?
Yeah.
That reunion got to happen because that pet was microchipped, or they were able to find whichever shelter it was, that kind of thing. So if you have a pet, even if the pet doesn't normally go outside, you need to have them microchipped.
And we were talking, you were bringing awareness to this just last week as well, too, about the importance of microchipping your animal, your pet. Yeah, especially for something as devastating as this.
You have to, because on that one day when the dog gets loose and you can't catch up and you don't know what to do.
And I'm sure it could happen just
anywhere.
So quick, and anywhere too.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, let's get to your 4 to 5 roundup here now. Alamance Burlington Schools is scrambling to fix mold issues before the first day of school. This morning, the district shared non-toxic mold was discovered at Cummings High School and Broadview Middle School. Earlier this month, we learned about cases of mold at Andrews and Newland Elementary. Over the weekend, Andrews passed an indoor air quality test, making it safe for students and staff to return. Meanwhile, Newland Elementary is being cleaned out as we speak, and those students are going to be starting the year at Ray Street Academy, that is, with those Ray Street students going to Graham Middle School.
Rockingham County leaders, they could be making way for a new casino tonight. In less than 2 hours, commissioners will vote on rezoning the property right along US 220, just north of Summerfield. Now, this decision would be the first official step in bringing a casino to North Carolina. There's a public hearing tonight at 6:30. We're going to have live team coverage on WFMY News 2 at 6.
And Guilford County residents who pay their property taxes early can get a 1% discount. The rate will apply to county property and fire district taxes. To get the discount, you must pay your property taxes before they are due on September 1st. You can find more information on our website.
It is a blast from the past. I want you to check this out here. The restaurant business can be challenging, of course, but one New York restaurant says business is booming after they revived an old idea. Michael George shows us how the automat may be making a comeback.
A visit to the Brooklyn dumpling shop might be confusing. There's no cashier, no wait staff. You'll find menu items in these little heated lockers, a reboot of a 100-year-old concept called an automat.
Technology killed the automat. It's time for technology to bring back the automat.
Automats started in the early 1900s and looked something like a giant vending machine. Customers put in coins to pull out their selection, but the automat's popularity faded, and eventually they shut down.
There's two ways.
Brooklyn Dumpling Shop co-founder Stratus Morfogen says this modern automat has some updates. First, customers use their phones to order. The food is cooked, then it goes into the locker. A text alert tells customers their order is ready for pickup using a code.
Scan your phone.
Scan it right there.
Yep, it'll tell you which locker to go to.
And then the
it's
door
number
opens.
6.
What are the advantages of this system?
We're respecting your time. So if you go to our web, place an order, pick a time, you could come in and out in 10 seconds.
The concept has customer appeal.
I like to run late, so they keep it warm and hot for me. That'd be perfect.
I think it's amazing, and I think it's really something for the future.
Morfogen says with just 3 employees, they can serve 200 to 300 customers a day.
I believe this will save our industry. When we get like the TikTok generation of the 15 to 30-year-olds, they come in and they're super comfortable with this concept because they live off their phone.
They've invested in this idea from the past being the future of restaurants.
I love this. There was a documentary I watched on the automat, the history. I'd never even heard of it. I didn't really know what it was. It was a big deal in New York in like the 1920s and 30s and 40s. But the idea of going in, there are people, you're not getting a sandwich out of a vending machine with this thing, right? You're getting like
it's hot meals,
turkey and gravy and mashed potatoes. Yes.
And yeah, the fact that they're keeping it warm as well too. I mean, I think it's just a great idea. And they said that how they were respecting your time, because I like it. I mean, maybe you're rushing, trying to get through traffic. You're trying to get around to go and get your food, and the fact that it's sitting there, still fresh, still warm, and you're good to go and you can go. I love it.
And they're cooking back behind there and just putting the plates out in kind of real time.
That's
so
it.
You'll get a fresh meal. And they said it was a social event too. Families did it a lot. And it's a lot cheaper than eating out because it's like a conveyor belt of food, right?
Except that it's like going to the cafeteria, like the CNH cafeteria, but you don't have to tell the person behind the line, hey, I'd like this. You just order it yourself.
If you want seconds, you get up and put the money in and get another one.
Right. I was just trying to rack my brain because I've been in an airport where one of these existed.
Ooh,
now, just lately, within the last like 6 months, and why I can't think of which place I was in is a problem.
I do wonder if they have a time limit though, if someone doesn't come and pick up their food on
right,
time.
because
you know
it
what I
would
mean?
be spoiled, right?
Yeah, and then you need to, create room for the next meal.
It does, but I know they do keep them in there. Like they'll make a lot of it and then wait, but there is a time limit, I'm sure. But those boxes are heated.
Yeah.
So your food is hot all the time. So cool. All right, we'll take a break. Be right back.
Oh, you know this lovable varmint, right? Buc-ee, the face of the gas station slash restaurant slash home decor store slash jerky mecca. Yeah, you know them. We're waiting, of course, to see if Buc-ee's will be coming to Alamance County. There are more than 40 Buc-ee's in the South. A majority of them, of course, are in Texas. The closest one to the Triad is in Florence, South Carolina. There's, of course, mixed reaction to the possibility of Buc-ee's coming to Mebane as we wait, right?
And of course they have a Buc-ee's now. When I lived in Florence a million years ago.
They did not?
Yes, so I've been to one, only one in my life, and it was in Georgia, I think.
Okay.
So I'm learning more and more about how popular Buc-ee's is. And you know, I've never seen a Buc-ee's in person before until a month ago. I can't remember exactly where I was in particular, but I was coming off in interstate and I just saw so many lines of cars of people excited to go into the
Were there angels
stores.
singing?
I couldn't hear it from where I was, but hey, maybe.
If I'd rolled my window down, yes.
All right, well, the process now with the Mebane Planning Board and City Council, you know, it's in flux. There's going to be some public hearings, and of course, we'll let everybody know about them. While we wait, there's another company that is using the Buc-ee's name to get on the map. Here we go. This is Finance Buzz. Their website posted this article, Buc-ee's Buddy. Get paid $1,000 by Finance Buzz to taste test road trip snacks. Now, there's going to be 25 items to sample from Buc-ee's, including the beaver nuggets, the hippo tacos, homemade fudge, biscuits and gravy. Those are just a few. Finance Buzz is going to give you a shopping list. Then they want you to write reviews and take pictures. The site will use these for their stories. So what do you think about this as a side hustle?
I am in. How easy is that?
Listen, I say sign me up as well too. What about you, Tanya?
I'm in. Yeah, I mean, the tasting of the food, why would you not want to do that?
Right.
And if you don't know what this is, just Google it and read about it because they are massive. They're like the size of 2 Walmart supercenters. I mean, they're huge.
Yeah, I mean, it really is like a gas station slash home decor slash restaurant slash jerky place slash
I regret to this day not turning in.
Not going
I
in.
almost did,
Yes.
but I didn't. But
And you know
next
what?
time.
I did just to see it. I didn't even need gas. I just wanted, but there was like I don't know how many, I'm gonna guess like 100 gas pumps.
Yes,
you know.
oh for sure, easy. And they hold like the world record for the largest convenience store as well as like the longest car wash.
Really?
Yeah, they have that too, because I mean, why wouldn't you have that? All right, now here's what I want to do. I want to give you the details of the job in case you're like, okay, this is the side hustle I've been looking for. You have to apply by midnight on September 11th. Finance Buzz will be taking until about the 18th to decide who is the winner because they're going to pick one person. So this is a 2-week side hustle. That's it, just for 2 weeks. You're going to eat, you're going to sample, you're going to write for those 2 weeks. The payday is, again, $1,000, and then you get $250 to buy the snacks and the sample. Now, you do have to be 18 years old to do this job, and you do need to live close by because as soon as they say go, you have 2 weeks to eat those 25 items.
I might be able to do that in 2 days. I don't know if I need 2 weeks.
Well, I mean,
no, I love that though.
You really do need to take some care and I thought to myself, this is super smart, right? Because they're not having to pay anybody they know, right? Healthcare, you know, time off, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to pay somebody else who doesn't need all that stuff, right, on the payroll to tell us what they thought.
And honestly, I just think it's a fun experience, just
sure.
in general. You know what I mean? So yeah, sign up if you got the time and you love food.
I do wonder, like, you know, you have to put your name in there and blah, 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 how you set yourself aside. You don't necessarily want to be a foodie, but you do have to like these kinds of foods, right?
Sure.
Oh, that's true. You'd have to eat it whether you like it or not.
Whether you like it or not, that's right. All right, so of course, 2 Wants to Know has the link to the application for you or a family member who may live next to a Buc-ee's and wants to be the Buc-ee snack person. All right, we'll see you.
Climate change has been blamed for wildfires, droughts, and massive flooding, but it's also creating new opportunities for winemakers. As Ian Lee reports, your next glass could come from an unexpected place.
Rows and rows of vines can conjure images of Europe's famous wine regions. But this is Sweden. These two French winemakers moved to the Scandinavian country to uncork its potential. She says the weather is more stable and predictable, unlike France, which has long hot periods with no rain and big hailstorms.
We want that this house and this production is going to be for the future.
Felix Arberg sees potential to put Sweden on the winemaking map. With warmer and longer growing seasons and none of the extreme weather, new varieties of grapes round out the country's sprouting industry.
So one of the best vintages for Champagne the last 100 years was 1996. And from a climate perspective, that would be 2021 in Sweden. So it's really going our way.
As drought and rising heat force traditional wine-growing regions like France, Italy, and Spain to reassess their methods, Sweden is toasting its success.
And this is the frontier.
A frontier exploring a whole new territory in the world of wine.
It's always interesting how something can have an impact in one category, but then also have a different kind of impact in another category. So if you like wine, that's pretty interesting.
I've been to Napa Valley once, and it was fascinating to me. And even back then, I probably drank solely wine. It was kind of the thing my wife and I were into at the time. And I loved it. I thought it was more than even just the wine. It's so beautiful out there.
It is.
And that climate is just so nice and cool and temperate and lovely. I love vineyards.
Yeah, the one thing I've grown to love about the Triad as well too, I feel like we just have so many great spots here. If you like wine and you want to do wine tastings and all of those different things, there's just so much stuff to choose from.
I still love Shelton Vineyards, one of my favorites.
Yeah, near Mount Airy, right?
Yep.
And I'm a Jolo fan from like Pilot Mountain and whatever else, but they're all good. They all have like a different like theme to them, right?
Live music.
Childress Vineyards. I mean, you got to go there and see that too.
The best time
Yes, it
to
is.
do it.
When they have the outside fireplace stuff, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
so nice. All right, well, let's talk about our forecast and see if we have any of those outside fireplace nights. Not in the short term. Well, that's not true. Let me say at the end of the 7-day, there's a possibility that we could see a high around 83. Here it is, the entire 7-day for you. 92 degrees for your Tuesday. We'll drop that down a little bit. We were talking about mid-90s earlier, but we'll trim that back. But 84. Comfortable on Wednesday, 88 Thursday, not bad Friday. Hottest day of the week at 95, and then a late day storm chance, but we go to the mid to low 80s for Sunday, Monday.
Absolutely. 10987654 10987654
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Small fries taking a big pick.
Testing. 1, 2, 3. Test.
Mic check, 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1, mic check.
Hey, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, Nixon Norman, WFMY.
I'm doing a mic check for you, and I hope it's a good one. It's a little hot today.
As we all get ready for summer to come to an end, I was lucky enough to squeeze in a trip with my niece and nephews before the kids go back to school. We went with the rest of our family to Disneyland. It was my first time at the park, and I was blown away by how much thought they put into every detail. Their Star Wars land was insane. You felt like you were on another planet. Stormtroopers everywhere. I even ate a dessert that looked like rocks from an alien planet. And drank blue milk. For a few brief days, it certainly felt like the happiest place on earth. But not because of Disney, because that's where all my family was together. Making memories and sharing laughs. A survey by TravelEffect.com found 62% of adults say their earliest memory is a family vacation, taken sometime between the ages of 5 and 10. And they often remember family trips more clearly than school events or celebrations like birthday parties. But it doesn't have to be a big trip. The researchers found an overnight stay somewhere can work, even a staycation at a local hotel. Growing up, some of my favorite memories are trips to the grandparents' house, where we'd all play dominoes until the wee hours of the morning. That time bonding together is something I will always cherish. And I hope the kids in my family now hold on to the memories we're making too. That's my 2 cents. I'll see you tomorrow on the Good Morning Show. WFMY News 2 at 5 starts right now.
We start with 2 big stories right now on WFMY News 2 at 5 o'clock. Mold is found at 2 more Alamance Burlington schools. That is now a total of 4 schools with mold, and the school year starts next week.
Meanwhile, a big meeting is